Okay, hi guys. So sorry. Technical difficulties as always. But hopefully I'm on now and everyone can see me. If you can, give me a good thumbs up so I know that we're working and you guys can see my PowerPoint. Give a second, make sure everyone's on here. Once you get on, if you can see me and everything's working fine, you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. If you can see me and hear me, give me a thumbs up. Is there a meeting in here? Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and get started. Today, we're going to be talking about reactive strategies. And last month, we talked about some proactive and antecedent strategies that we can use to navigate those challenging behaviors. So now we're going to kind of talk about what happens when they're already occurring. Just want to make sure everyone can hear me. Okay, I'll keep going. Also, just a reminder, if you would like to be a goal buddy, I have a few parents that have emailed me. And if you'd like to be a goal buddy, make sure you give me that email telling me that you'd like to be a goal buddy. And just a reminder that is, we'll pair our parents up that want to be involved, and you guys can communicate and talk about celebrations that you're having with your kiddos, things that you're working on. Maybe if you're going through difficult times, have someone just to be there together to work through those times, as well as get together outside of imprint and just really have that team. That way you guys can go through things together, as well as set those goals and keep each other accountable. So if you want to do that, make sure you give me an email. Also, remember to watch last month's video and then this month and next month. And if you guys email me the code words from those videos, as well as any ideas that you have for future trainings or support groups, every idea that you give me is an extra entry into the drawing. So make sure you send me those emails. All right, let's get started. So reactive strategies that we can work on for those challenging behaviors. Okay. All right, let's do a little bit of review, because sometimes when we're working through these behaviors, we have to kind of know what we're looking for. So it's been a little bit, but I don't know if you guys remember, we talked about those 4 functions of behavior. Those 4 functions are attention, escape, access, and sensory. Attention behavior, so any behavior that is maintained by that attention function, is any behavior that you have seen the child engage in for attention, to access your attention or the attention of others. Escape is just any behavior that you have seen your child engage in to escape a situation or get out of or not engage in that situation. Access is just any type of behavior that you see your child engage in to access an item or an activity. And then sensory is any type of behavior that we see our kiddos engage in for the sole purpose of it feels good, such as biting sometimes can be sensory maintained. Sometimes we see our kiddos doing a lot of spinning or jumping, or sometimes we'll see them hit their head with items. All of those can most likely be identified as the sensory function. Hopefully you guys remember those. And then one other refresher is the ABCs. This is also going to help us when we're navigating those reactive strategies for those tricky times. So antecedent, behavior, and consequence. So an antecedent is anything that happens before the behavior occurs. The behavior is the actual behavior that your kiddo is engaging in. And then the consequence is anything that happens after the behavior. So just a reminder that those are super important when we're looking at these behaviors and how to work through them as well. And then last month we did talk about antecedent strategies, so just a little reminder on those. These are some different antecedent strategies that we can use to hopefully prevent those behaviors from happening altogether. So such as those countdowns, letting them know that things are getting ready to change. A lot of our kiddos respond well to those. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 30 seconds, 3, 2, 1s, whatever is best for your kiddo. Offering choices can sometimes help alleviate those tricky situations, such as, do you want to wear the red shirt or the blue shirt? Like, we're going to get dressed, but you can have a choice of which shirt you wear. Altering the environment, so making those environmental changes that can hopefully set your kiddo up for success, such as maybe their favorite toy is in the car when you get into the car. Maybe that's a tricky transition. Maybe setting up visuals throughout the house for a schedule. That way it prepares them to know what to expect in the evening when your nighttime routine is a little tricky. And then last but not least, using those first then statements. So first we need to brush your teeth, and then you can go have your breakfast, or something simple like that. All of those are those things we can do to hopefully to prevent those behaviors from happening in the first place. Okay, that is a lot of information. So just a review on all of those things. Does anyone have any questions, comments? Go ahead and shoot them into this chat. I can see those as well and answer. Good morning, Laura. If anyone has any questions. Okay, cool. Hopefully everyone remembers all of those. So let's now talk about what happens. So we've tried to prevent the behavior from happening using those antecedent strategies. And now let's see some different tips and tricks we can do if those didn't work and the behavior is occurring. So the first two we're going to talk about is tell, show, do, and teaching better behaviors. The tell, show, do is pretty simple and self-explanatory, but you're first going to tell the kiddo what you're going to do, then you're going to show them how to do it, and then you're going to do it with them. So let's say that you want your kiddo to throw trash away. So first you're going to tell them, throw your trash away. Then you're going to show them how to throw your trash away. So you'll throw trash away, put it in the trash can. Then you're going to help them do it. So you'll hand over hand or prompt your kiddo to pick up the trash, walk it over to the trash can, and then release the trash. So tell, show, do. And that's really good for our lower skill kiddos, just because helping them walk through that, they might not know what to expect when you just tell them to throw your trash away. So showing them what to do, then helping them do it together can help really hone in on that skill. The next one is teaching better behaviors. So we want to first identify the function. Remember, we talked about those 4 functions of behavior. So why is the kiddo engaging in that behavior? So what's the function? Then we want to teach a replacement behavior, which is a alternative behavior that still serves the same function, still serves the same purpose, but then is a more appropriate response rather than the challenging behavior they're engaging in. And then we want to immediately reinforce that better behavior. So let's break those down a little bit more. So the tell, show, do. Here it is again. So we tell, we give the verbal directions. Wait for about 5 seconds is a good time for a response. If they don't respond, that's normally indicating they are either trying to escape what's going on, they don't want to do what you ask them to do, or they might not understand what's going on. They might not understand the directions you're giving. Then we're going to show them what we want them to do. So deliver the instructions again, along with some kind of hand model. So whether we point to the object we want them to do or pick up or complete, maybe we model the entire task for them, whatever we need to do to help them know what we expect. Then we're going to do it with them. So we're going to physically help them do the task. So like the example before, we're going to actually put our hands on them and help them complete the task. That way they understand what to do and they complete the task as well. It's also super important to note that you should reinforce immediately once they complete that task. That way they know that that's the behavior you wanted to see. And then teaching better behaviors. Here's a little scenario too to help us look at this. So remember, first we have to identify that function. So why are they engaging in that behavior? So for example, Susan is dumping toys out when she wants your attention. So we know that she's dumping the toys out to get your attention. So we've identified that the function is attention. So we need to teach a replacement behavior. So a better behavior that still communicates what Susan needs, but in a better way. So we teach Susan to communicate that she wants you to play with her. So whether that be she uses her lamp device or her AAC device and says play, or she comes and tells you verbally, like, play with me, that is an alternative, a better behavior to dumping out toys every time that she wants you to play with her. So just looking for that replacement behavior, that is a better alternative. And then once she communicates that effectively and in a better way, we're going to give her lots of reinforcement. So tickles, praise. We're going to play with her in the best way we've ever played with her in our life. So that way she knows that that's the behavior that's going to get the most reaction out of you, not the dumping the toys. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is response blocking. I'm sure a lot of you have heard us talk about this as well. This one can be super tricky too, because you'll have to catch that behavior in the moment for this to be the most effective. But it can be pretty effective if completed. So, for example, when Susan attempts to engage in a behavior, you'll block the behavior using your arms, hands, or body, and then redirect her to an appropriate behavior. So let's say that my 3-year-old at home are going through these tantrums where they then start to hit. So that's fun things we're doing at home. So when my kiddo starts to get mad because we have to take a bath, so it's time to take a bath, and he's crying and he goes to hit me because he's mad that we're going to take a bath. So for me to be able to response block that behavior, when he raises his hand to hit me, I'm going to stop his hand to the best that I can, help him calmly put it down to his side very gently, and then I'm going to tell him that he can say, that makes me mad, or I don't want to take a bath, or I'm going to give him appropriate language to communicate that he's mad about taking a bath. Once your kiddos are a little bit older and they start to understand that too, you can also teach them to say, can I finish playing with my toy first? Or can I have 5 more minutes? Or, you can give them those compromises and work through those as well with some of our older kiddos. But our younger kiddos just need to know that when you're mad, it's not okay to hit. So I'm going to calmly put his hand to his side. I'm going to block that hit. I'm not going to allow him to actually hit me. And then I'm going to tell him what he can do instead. He can tell me that he's mad. He can say, I don't like taking a bath, or I wanted to play longer. So response blocking. Another example is, let's say that you have a kiddo that bites. So when they get upset, they go to bite something. So when they go to bite, you're going to try to the best of your ability to block biting that item. And then you can give them a replacement piece such as a chewy. So you can have them ask for the chewy nicely, or you can have them say chewy on their device, whatever they need to do, but blocking the actual biting and offering something that's okay to bite, such as a chewy or a teether or something like that. Okay, here's another example. So if Susan normally throws unpreferred food on the floor, you can block this by putting your hand over hers when she picks it up. And before she throws it on the ground, help her push it away from her and keep it on the table. So we're just not allowing her to throw the food on the ground, but we're still allowing her to escape the food that she doesn't like. So she's engaged in this behavior for, if anyone knows the function, they could throw it out there. She does not like the unpreferred food, and so she's throwing the food on the floor. So the function would be escape. Nice job, guys. And so what we're doing to allow her to escape the food that she doesn't like, because we still want to help her serve the same function. So instead of her throwing the food on the floor to escape the situation, we're teaching her to push it away. So not only are we response blocking this, but we're also teaching her a better behavior. So you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone there. So she still doesn't have to eat it, but we can still allow her to say that she doesn't like it and push it away. Okay, and then the next one is extinction by function. So remember, we have those 4 functions. So before using extinction, we must first identify the function that maintains that behavior. So we can identify that function by taking that ABC data. So when we are analyzing those behaviors, we can look and see what happens before the behavior occurs, what the behavior is, and then what happens after the behavior. That can help us identify the function. And then also looking for patterns. So, for example, let's say that every time you're on the phone, your little one goes and pees on the floor. So you're going to see that happens every time that you're on the phone. So most likely that behavior is going to be for attention, because you are no longer giving that kiddo the attention, and they know when they pee on the floor, they're going to give you lots of attention. So looking for those patterns throughout your kiddo and their schedule, and kind of what happens when you do certain things, and or changes in the actual schedule can help you identify those functions. Once the function is identified, you're going to use that extinction across all settings and people. The more consistent that the extinction is, the better the success with reducing the problematic behavior. So let's look at that a little bit further. Okay, so if Susan has learned that if you turn on Bubble Guppies and she drops to the floor and cries, that you will then turn on Mickey Mouse, she's going to continue to do this and get access to her preferred item. She's engaging in this behavior for access to Mickey Mouse, right? So she wants to watch Mickey Mouse. She doesn't want to watch Bubble Guppies. So every time you turn on Bubble Guppies, she drops to the floor and cries, you turn on Mickey Mouse. So if we were to break that down in the ABCs, the antecedent, the A, is that Bubble Guppies is on. The behavior is that Susan drops to the floor and cries. And the consequence is what happens after that behavior is you turn on Mickey Mouse. So that helps us understand that she does this behavior to access Mickey Mouse. So for extinction to that behavior, we would need to stop allowing Susan to get what she wants when engaging in that behavior, so that she will see that engaging in the behavior is no longer working at what she wants. Okay? So we need to have her understand that when she drops to the floor, we're not going to automatically turn on Mickey Mouse, because all we're doing is helping her to learn that's how you get Mickey Mouse, is dropping to the floor and crying. But because that's not how we want her to ask, we have to teach her a replacement behavior. So we need to teach Susan to say, all done, or Netflix, or on her lamp, or ask appropriately, I don't want to watch Bubble Guppies, I want to watch Mickey Mouse, or for her just to say Mickey Mouse, whatever skill level your kiddo has, teaching them to appropriately ask for something different. Then once she is showing those appropriate ways of communicating, we immediately reinforce her and allow access to Mickey Mouse. That way we teach her that this is the appropriate way to ask for Mickey Mouse, not dropping to the floor and crying. Okay, let's look at a different function. So if Susan has learned when you are doing dishes, if she comes and starts crying, that you will sit with her on the couch. She will continue to engage in this behavior to get what she wants. So let's break that behavior down. So the antecedent, the A, is that you're doing dishes. The behavior is that Susan starts crying. The consequence is you sit with her on the couch. This happens every time that you're doing the dishes, and every time Susan cries, and every time you sit on the couch with her to comfort her, to calm her down. So we know that this behavior is happening for attention. She wants your attention. The way she knows and has learned how to get it is to cry, and you'll come comfort her and give her your attention. So for extinction, we need to stop allowing Susan to get what she wants when she's engaged in that behavior. So we need to stop allowing Susan to get our attention by engaging in the crying behavior. We need to no longer give her attention when she's crying the behavior. This might involve ignoring the behavior, which always be careful when ignoring the behavior. So when we say ignore the behavior, we're not meaning like completely walk out of the room and no longer supervise your kiddo, but maybe just not reacting very big when she's crying. Or maybe that you continue to do the dishes, but ask her what's wrong. So we're not stopping everything completely and stopping the dishes to go sit with her to comfort her, but we are not going to give her as much attention as we were before. And then we need to teach that replacement behavior. So she wants our attention. We need to give her an appropriate way to ask for our attention. So we need to teach Susan to say, play, mom, or can you sit with me, or something like that. Or you can teach her to appropriately wait until you're done doing the dishes. It's totally up to you and what your kiddo needs in that moment. But we need to show her an appropriate way to get what she wants by not engaging in that challenging behavior. Then once showing her this way and she communicates effectively, we want to obviously reinforce immediately. That consistency is key, because if we don't keep that consistent, she's going to go back into the way she used to get your attention. So just making sure that we keep that consistent and we teach her those appropriate ways to get our attention rather than those challenging behaviors. Okay, escape. So if Susan has learned when she doesn't want to take a bath, if she drops to the ground and starts crying, that you allow her to go watch TV, she's going to continue that behavior. So let's break that one down. The antecedent, the A, is that it's time to take a bath. The behavior is that she starts crying and drops to the floor. The consequence is you allow her to watch TV instead. So she is engaging in this behavior to escape taking a bath. So to put that behavior on extinction, we need to stop allowing Susan to get what she wants when engaging in that behavior. We need to make sure that she does not escape a situation by engaging in the behavior, and we need to provide an alternative way to escape that if possible, or have her follow through first, then escape. Okay? So we need to teach Susan to say all done, or tell her first we have to take a bath, then you can watch TV, and then having her follow through and then immediately reinforcing. So that reinforcement is key at the end when we teach her those replacement behaviors, or she's not going to engage in that behavior again. Okay, let's have one more. So if Susan has learned that when she feels the need to put something in her mouth, maybe her teeth are hurting, maybe she likes the sensation of the way her mouth feels when she bites something hard, that she bites her sister. So she's going to continue in that behavior because biting her sister gives her that sensation that she's seeking. So the antecedent is, which the sensory ones are so hard because sometimes we don't know what they need in those moments. So the antecedent actually is really tricky here. So let's not identify the antecedent because sometimes you won't know. But the behavior is that she's biting her sister. So we need to figure out why she's biting her sister. And if you can't figure out any other function, so her sister didn't take her toy, she isn't asking for attention that you can see, and there's no aversive situation that she's trying to escape, all indications are probably going to go towards sensory. It's also important to note maybe your kiddo's teething, maybe she has a history of biting other things too. Maybe she bites furniture or toys or puts other things in her mouth. Those are all key things too to help us identify that it's sensory. So for extinction for sensory, we need to stop allowing her to bite her sister, such as response blocking. We talked about that a little bit ago, and teach her some more appropriate behaviors that she can feel the same need. But we have to teach that first, so she's not going to know that until we teach it. So we need to teach Susan to use a chewy or ask for certain foods that meet that need, rather than her sister. So maybe offering her chewies throughout her day, seeing if she responds well to those, seeing if she, if that results in less biting of others when she has a chewy present. Maybe she needs more crunchy foods introduced into her diet because she likes that crunchiness. So just exploring some different ways there. Sensory functions are really tricky. So if you guys have behaviors that are happening and you think that they're sensory, go ahead and seek out your BCBA and kind of brainstorm what you think that might be, and they can really help you dissect those situations and best see how to handle those. Okay, so let's look at some of these other examples. So you turn on the TV and Susan gets the remote and starts pushing buttons and crying when things aren't going her way. Does anyone think that they can tell me what that function is and what we can teach for her to do it differently? So Susan, you turn on the TV, Susan gets the remote and starts pushing buttons and crying when things aren't going her way. So she wants access to the TV working. So when she's pushing the buttons and things aren't happening, she wants the TV to work, it's not. So she wants access to the TV to work. So something we could do for her is in that moment when she's frustrated and she's trying to hit the buttons on the remote and it's not working, we could teach her to ask for help. That way we could come over and help her with the remote. Example 2. Every time you tell Susan it's time to brush her teeth, she runs to the bathroom crying. You don't have time to fight her, so you put her coat on and leave for the day. What do we think about that one? You tell Susan it's time to brush her teeth. She runs from the bathroom crying. You don't have time to fight her, so you put her coat on and leave for the day. Trying to escape that toothbrushing. She does not want to do it. She knows if she gives you enough fight that you're going to say, forget it, get in the car, we're done. So she's going to continue doing that. She's smart. She knows what to do. She doesn't want to engage in toothbrushing. She runs away, doesn't have to do toothbrushing. So she's trying to escape that situation. So we can try to help her follow through. So first we're going to brush our teeth. Then we can do something fun, her favorite toy, her favorite activity. We can give her choices. We can say, do you want to brush your teeth by yourself or do you want me to help you? We can navigate that a few different ways. But overall, it's good to know that if we don't follow through, she's going to continue engaging in that behavior and we're going to continue having these behaviors every time that we need to brush our teeth. So it's important to follow through and be consistent. All right, guys, that was a lot of information that I spread through really fast. So does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, anything that I can help you with, anything that anyone's struggling with, anything anyone's celebrating or excited about? I know all of our kiddos here in the clinic are making such big strides. Super proud of them. Also on this screen is my email, so don't forget to jot that down. And our key word this week is going to be coffee.